Good afternoon to everybody. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So this brief introduction and also some um, information for the new people to molecular biology. This is just titled as genome architecture and analysis. So in this talk, I'm going to cover a few things like genome structure. It includes promoter, exon, intron, and splicing, mRNA, protein, genomic library, as well as genomic database. I will take an example as UCSC site. And I will also show you how you can analyze your gene or find your gene by using this database or the website. So I'll go from a basic introduction. If you see the cell, the somatic cells, you have a nucleus and also you have the mitochondria. So in the nucleus, you have the majority of the genome, the chromosomes. In the mitochondria, you have a circular DNA. This is the mitochondrial DNA. The adult somatic cells has a two number of genomic size. Then when it form the germ cells, then it become n number. When they fertilize, again it become 2n. Then the zygote forms, the embryo forms, then again it become a somatic cells. At the time of fertilization, the mitochondria is from the mother because the sperm cells don't have any mitochondria. So the mitochondria always inherited from mother. So here I gave some examples of cell line websites. From these websites, you can find the cell lines you want for your experiment. So for example, the ATCC, mostly it will provide you a normal cells, somatic cells from different organisms, from different organs also. Then the other websites, I will share this website through separate list of files. These other sites, you could also find out patient cells from the patient sample, abnormal cells, induced pluripotent stem cells, all the kind of information you can get. Then next we'll move from cell to the nucleus. When you go to the genome or the nucleus, here I shows few examples like mouse genome, human genome, as well as the Drosophila. If you see, mouse has the normal 19 autosomes, 1 X and Y, but this is a normal mouse male chromosome numbers. When you see the NIH3T3 cells, the numbers are very high. They are maybe triple the number of what you see in the mouse normal genome. So when you choose your cells for your experiment, it is better to check the genome size. So depending on the genome size, your experiment may vary also. Similarly, in human also, you have the normal cells. You have cells from the patients. So here is a Down syndrome. So you have the trisomy of chromosome 21. If you take an example of Drosophila, you have only 4 chromosomes. But interestingly, you take mouse, human, and Drosophila, most of these genes are highly conserved. So that's why they use a different genome for studying either human disease or express the mouse gene in Drosophila or the Drosophila in human, vice versa. So they are conserved. Many genes are conserved. I don't say all the genes, many genes. Then if you see the mitochondrial DNA, it is a circular DNA. It will express inside the mitochondria. The abnormalities in the mitochondrial genome also related to some diseases. Then I'll go for a brief introduction of the cell. The nucleus, you have DNA. The DNA, when the DNA unwind, it becomes the chromatin. The chromatins, when they undergo for transcription, then they form a pre-mRNA. The pre-mRNA, you can see exons and the intron sequences. When the pre-mRNA process, then it become a matured mRNA. When the matured mRNA come to the cytoplasm, and it was translated and it will produce the protein. This one everybody knows. So if you see the genomic nature of this DNA is a double stranded. So it starts from 5 prime, 3 prime, then opposites and complement strand is 5 prime to 3 prime. So the genes are present in both. The transcription happens in both strands. Some genes are in the plus strand, some genes are located in the negative strand. When the DNA transcribed into pre-mRNA, I previously mentioned, okay, in the DNA, it is a continuous ATGC sequences. You cannot differentiate where the intron and where the exon and where the promoter is. Based on certain characters, we classified them as a promoter, exon, intron, then stop codon, then poly, untranslated region, then inter gene regions. So when it comes to the pre-mRNA, the double-stranded DNA becomes single-stranded RNA. The main difference between DNA and RNA is instead of T, you can see U, uracil. In the matured mRNA, you can see like a 5 prime cap and 3 prime polyadenylation signal. So before the start codon, you have some regions they called as a 5 prime UTR. After the stop codon, you have some regions they have the 3 prime UTR. They will also important in certain way for mRNA stability and also involved in protein production. When the RNA translate to the protein, then each 3 bases is meant for 1 amino acid. Like that it goes on. When it see, I will go in detail later. So from the mRNA, then you can get a protein. They are amino acids. These here I showed you the codon table for different codons as well as the corresponding amino acids. These amino acids are mostly conserved throughout different species, but the frequency of using a particular codon in particular organism is different from other. For example, here I showed glycine. So glycine, you can see GGG. In E. coli, the percentage is 0.16, but in the human, it is 0.25. The percentage will vary. In case if you want to express human gene in E. coli, so you must change the codon usage or you must change the codons. Instead of using GAA, you can change it to GGC. So this is called as codon optimization. Then next one, we will go in depth. So we saw the genome and also how the genes from DNA to protein in brief. Then we go in depth. Then how these genomic databases are arrived. So in the beginning, we saw the chromosomes they are not arranged in properly inside the nucleus. What they did was to make the library. These happened in early 1990s to 2000. So they fragmented the genomic DNA or the chromosomal DNA into small pieces. Then they made the library. Later they arranged it. Then they formed the genomic database. How they did it? So these are the example for different genomic libraries and different, it will be useful for your genome analysis and gene analysis. Okay, here, so just I briefly explain how they made the library, then how they made the database. For example, take the human genome. They cut into small pieces or they fractionated into small pieces. Then they put inside a plasmid. This plasmid is inside the plasmid. They put it inside the plasmid, then they transform into the bacteria. Then they pick a single colony and put it in a plate. So these clones are called as back clones. Back clones means bacterial artificial chromosomes. Why they give this name? Because when they break this genomic DNA, the sizes are very big. It is from 100 kilobase pair to 300 kilobases. So once they made this library, that's why they called as a bacterial artificial chromosome. Once they made a library, once they made a library, they stamp each and every clone into a paper. Then this represents a pooling of one plate. In one plate, they plated the bacteria in two different places. The same clone come into two different places. So when you use the heterologous probe, this happens in the beginning stage. So when you do this heterologous probe, you will find some spots. So this is the specific, this one is specific, this one is specific, this is non-specific spot. So when you find the specific spot, then you can ask the corresponding clone from the genomic library. In the genomic library, here is the one example for one bacterial artificial chromosome. This represents RP23. This means the library name. Then 207 is the plate name. Then you can see P05. This is the position of the clone in the plate. So you can get this clone, then you analyze it and you submit it. These informations were used in the beginning time for the data preparation or making the library preparations. This source, you can get it from the different sources. The bacterial clones, you can get it from the following sources. These are the example. The clone size is here, the marker is 1 kb ladder, but when you isolate the bacterial chromosome, it will be always above 10 kb or more than that. Here you can see some bacterial genomic DNA. It will be stuck in the well. The back clones you can see here. So once these clones are arranged, they put it in they made it a different databases. Then one is from UK, then USA, then Germany. Now they have different databases, but all the databases having the same information, and they share the information between all these databases. This is the one example of the genomic database. This is a UCSC genome browser site. Here you can find the gene, you can get the bacterial chromosomes and everything. This will come in detail later. So here also, this is the way you can see when you use the NCBI website. So here is the one example of chromosome. Then it is the corresponding bacteria back clones. Then this is the genomic region. Okay. When you see when you search your gene, for example, gene A, then you can also see this is the gene A region, then this is a gene B region. In between these two genes, the promoter may present. So this is the intergene regions. Most of the gene, I don't say all the genes, most of the genes, the intergene regions are promoter regions. So we don't know either the whole promoter uh, is within the region or it's a portion of these intergene regions. If you want to know the minimal promoter region or the promoter enhancer or promoter suppressor sites where they are locating within these regions, you need to go for a molecular biology study like a promoter expression using a luciferase or some other markers. So here is an example. In this example, I take 3 kb of the intergene region. I deleted sequential deletion. Then I try to know which region is a minimal promoter region. In this case, even 0. Like 100 base pair is good enough to express the gene. So some regions, when I delete some regions, there is no expression at all. If I delete some regions, you can see the expression goes down. So these regions are regulatory regions. The regulatory regions also present in first intron, second intron, it varies gene from gene. So you must learn or you must study your gene where these regulatory regions are. So because based on these regulatory regions, your gene expression will also vary. So if you want to delete the gene, you want to overexpress the gene, or you want to control the gene, you must know all these factors specific to your gene. So now I can go from promoter to intron exon regions. Here is an example. Here you take one gene. In this gene, you can see, okay. Okay, so here I like to highlight one more thing. So in the beginning, I stated that in the 5' to 3' direction, some genes will run from 5' to 3' direction in the sense stand. Some genes will run 5' to 3' direction in the antisense stand. In this example, you can see this arrow mark. It is like this. So meaning that these genes are in the antisense stand or the complementary stand. So if you see these genes, the direction, the arrow direction is like this. So meaning that these genes are synthesizing from, transcribing from 5' to 3' direction in the plus stand or the sense stand. In this here, this gene, you can see the arrow is this direction. So here it is the first intron. No, this is, okay. Yeah, this is going this direction. This is the first exon. This is the last exon. So you see that these exons are showed in dark filled boxes. The introns are straight lines. Here you see the intron sizes vary between one exon to another exon. So it will vary. And also from gene to gene, the size will vary. Here you can see this exon is 31 kb in size. The second exon is only 2.8 kb in size. This exon, the fourth exon, the intron is only 984 base pairs. So the exon size varies, the intron size varies. So the genomic DNA in this case, it is a 90 kb in size. The cDNA become 16 kb in size, but the coding region, it is only 11 kb. So this is a typical example when you see in the genomic DNA. So here I showed in different colors. So here I am showing this red color region is the 5' UTR region. 5' untranslated region. So the gene transcription starts from here. Then the intronic region, the black region is the intronic region. This is the second exon. Even it is untranslated region, it considered as a exon 1. This is the exon 2. The exon 2, where you see ATG, then from here, the coding region starts. Before this coding region, all the genes, they are having a ribosome entry site. So in prokaryotes, the eukaryotes, both they are present. These regions are called as Cossack sequences. In case your cDNA don't have this Cossack sequence, if you are using only the coding region from ATG to the stop codon, the gene may not express in your cell. So you must need a Cossack sequence as well as the promoter region to express your gene, the cDNA, into your cell. So when after this, in the end, when it comes to TAG signal, it called as a stop codon. After that, you have the 3' UTR region. In the 3' UTR region, there are special signatures. They called as a polyadenylation signal element site. So when the transcription element find that region, then it says, okay, this is the place I need to stop. Mostly it is TTTAA, TTTAA, such kind of sequences. After that, when the DNA, the mRNA maturation stage, this is the same thing, the similar way it will be there in the pre-mRNA. When it comes to the matured mRNA, so here the pre-mRNA, you have the 5' splice site, you can see the 3' splice site, and also you have the A branch point site, polypyrimidine tract, splice enhancer site, all these sites are involved. So these elements, with these elements, these proteins will bind and they will splice out the intron. So this is the complicated process. You can read some papers in detail if you want to. Then they will join and become a matured mRNA. In this matured mRNA, you can see a 5' GCAP and also 3' polyadenylation. The matured mRNA is not the straight mRNA. You can see the secondary structure will be like this. Because they find a complementary strands, they will join together, then they'll form a secondary structure. Then naturally it will be like this. Okay, so in this secondary matured mRNA, like I previously said, the red regions are the 5' UTR, the blue regions are the coding regions, then the red is 3' UTR, then it is a polyadenylation signal. When the protein, when the mRNA, when it translates into protein, so when it see the first ATG or AUG, it starts the methionine. Each and every 3 nucleotides code for 1 amino acids, then it end up in UAG. There are many 3 stop codons, UAA, UAG, UAC. These are the stop codons. So this amino acid, these are the basic structure of the amino acid. So this amino acid, you can see the neutral amino acid, acidic amino acid, basic amino acid. If there is any mutation in your gene, or if there is any amino acid changes in your gene, the secondary structure, the secondary structure, tertiary structure, as well as the quaternary structure will change. Some amino acids are functional amino acid, like a serine, or they will be methylated. So only some proteins, if they are methylated, then they will be active. If there is any mutation in such kind of amino acid, the protein is not functional. So it is better you also know, if you are analyzing your protein function, protein studies, you can see either your protein is mutated or it is methylated by using the Western blot. You check it. So otherwise, you will end up with the wrong conclusion of, oh, my gene is not expressing, my protein is not expressing. Maybe it is not methylated properly. Maybe you may have some mutation, some amino acid changed, so it may not work properly. So if you want to learn more about what are the regions, so if you take the protein, so you know there's some domains, they will call us, okay, this is the protein binding domain, it is the domain outside the cell, the domain binding with the another protein. So these regions, if you want to know what are the domains, what are the regions, functional regions or non-functional region present in your protein, you can go to this database, UniProt. So this will give you most of the information about the functional domains. Are also published papers related to if there is any mutations already identified and what is the nature of the mutation, how it affects the protein function and all the informations. So now I will go to a practical section. It is related to how you can analyze the gene or genome and how to find out your gene in a database. So if you have any questions before I start, please ask me. Okay, so today I'm going to show some information on how to analyze your gene or how to search your gene in this database called UCSC. So when you type the UCSC database, so you can come, this is the opening space, you can click genome browser. When you type genome browser, it will come genome Asia UCSC edu. Okay. So in this place, you can see the here you can see different organisms like a human, mouse, rat, zebrafish. All the genomes are listed here. And also you can click all these databases in this place as well. So here, if you go to genome assembly, if you click this one, then you can see different assembly. These are these the June 2003, 4, 6, 9, 13 are different time points they made the assemble, because sometimes the genomes are not completely sequenced or assembly is not correct. So when you want to use, then you can use any of this one. If I'm using the 19, okay, so then that will give the information below. So what are the informations are available and everything. So if I want to search a gene, for example, see here, if you, when you type, you can see the gene list. Then I can go for ACTA1, ACTA ACTA1. So if I go, then you will come with this browser site. Here in this window, you can see what are the information you can get from this window. In this window, you can see a red line here. Sorry, how to change that? So in this window, you can see this is the chromosome. This is the chromosome 1. In this chromosome 1, your gene is located in this arm. So here also you can see the corresponding number to the chromosome. Then you can also see how many base pair of the gene is. Then here you can see this gene structure. So intron, exon, all this gene structure. Then here the color bars. You can see when you click this color bar, here you can see the cell line at which the expression level of this gene. So if you want to go further, if you right click and press it, then you can get the cell line information. Okay, then if you scroll down further, okay, here you can see another informations. So here you can see like a CRISPR targets. If you want to know either any CRISPR target for the gene, you can, in here it is highlighted. You click, unclick and see peak or change the settings, then you know what are the CRISPR targets available for the gene. For example, if I open this one map, then here I see the back clones. So if I click this one, then I say friends, then I refresh. Then when you see the refreshing, you can see the back clones. You can see the back clones for this region. So this way you can analyze or you can change your search. So here you can see many back clones available for this region. So here if you click, then you can get the information about the back clone, how big it is, what are the other genes located. So if you want to know if there is any other genes nearby, what is your next gene, then just you can simply zoom out. So when you zoom out, so I zoom out 10 times. So you can see here is my ACTA1 gene, then this is another gene nearby. So what is your gene nearby? So all these informations are available. Here also the back clone informations. So some genes, some back clones cover both genes. So in case if you want to pick a back clone from the library, nowadays it is very simple. Just you can order this one, it will arrive in a week time. So you can choose the genes or the back clones, then you can also get the information. Zoom 10 times. Okay, so now I showed you the back clone information, how you can see the genes and the cell line expression levels. And if I want to go inside the gene, just click the corner, then it will open a new window and it will give all the information about the gene as well as the database, where it is locating, and the expression, the particular cell line, the protein structure, the library information. So here you can see the gene structure. If I press this number, so then it gives you another information. So in this one, it is giving the gene is located in either sense stand or anti-sense, that means complementary stand. So if it is the minus, it is the complementary stand. When you press this link, so it will give you a information about the gene. So the first is the cDNA. The cDNA will show like the first part red color is a 5' UTR. The back red color is a 3' UTR. In the middle, you can see the blue color. In the also you can see the exon junction region, you can see the light blue color. So if you scroll down, could able to also see like the first exon, the second exon, the intronic region, then it continues until the gene stops. So this way you can able to find out your gene. So for example, you don't know your gene is, or somebody is sending you some sequence, and you want to know it is where the gene is, where this genomic fragment or the fragment is located into the genome. You can also do the um, blast by using this database. So here you can go to tool, then press BLAT. So when you press that, it will, the windows will appear. Just simply paste your, oops. Sorry, bear with me for a minute. So here I pasted some sequence, so the same sequence what I take. Then when you press submit, so you can also choose the genome. So for example, if I am taking the human gene, then I like to see, take it a mouse genome, either it has any homology or I want to check. Then if I submit it, so here you can see a list of information. So then here you can see how similar they are, where the locations are. Then if I click the details, then you will get the cDNA sequence and also the sequence homologous in the mouse genome. So in human, this gene is present in chromosome 1. In mouse, this gene is present in chromosome 8. And also it is present in the negative strand. That means complementary strand. When you check the informations compared to human and mouse, so here you can see the small letters, small g, or the letters in black. They are not matching with human genome. There are the sequence difference between human and mouse. But when you check the amino acid level, they are highly conserved. They are 100% similar. So this way you can analyze also the cDNA or the genomic region from one species to another species. And also you can able to find out what is the difference and what is the homology between human and mouse. So this information will be useful for you to construct or design a experiment to analyze either my cell lines are contaminated with mouse cells, or my human cells are contaminated with the mouse cells, or the mouse cells are contaminated with the human cells, all this stuff. Then also you can, if you want to knock out the gene or you want to express the gene, the mouse gene you want to express in the human, then you can also see either my gene is integrated or not. You can use this unique regions, and you can design the primer and do a PCR, then it will tell you, yeah, my mouse gene is also expressing, or my mouse gene is also integrated in the genome. Such kind of informations also you will get it by using cross-comparing mouse genome, human genome, or a dog, or Drosophila, whatever it will be. Still time is there. So in the same browser, if I, instead of pressing the details, if I press browser, then it will open the corresponding mouse genome present in this database. It is simple compared to NCBS site. So this will also give you the information. So here you see the your reference. So here you can see I use the human cell. So it is saying a human gene what I put. Then it is the corresponding mouse genome. Then you can also see here red small lines. That means they are the variations between mouse and human. Then you can see here this, for example, this region. So this is the exon. So these are the highly conserved regions. When you see these regions are highly conserved one, and some exons are varied between mouse and human. Some of them are small gaps. So you can also see what is the difference between mouse and human, and the variation, similarity, highly conserved regions. And also here you can see the different regions for like SNPs present in this mouse genome are the conserved SNPs between mouse and human. For example, if I go for expression region, then I can also see the what are the cell line mRNA. You can also see the cell lines, different cell lines, the expression levels. So in this region, so you can also check the mRNAs, the ESTs, expression tags, then CRISPR, CCDS, then the protein information. So all these informations you can get. So something if you want to, then you can, suppose here also, for example, here, that's an example of qPCR primers. If I want to use the qPCR primers, you can pick up this one, then you can refresh it. Then that will show you the possible qPCR primers. So those things, how you can check or how to design the qPCR primers and other stuff, I will show you. I will explain to you in the next. Yeah, here you can see this qPCR primers in this region. So those things I will explain to you in the next workshop. This is the beginning for the new users or newcomers or somebody very new to the molecular biology. This is just a beginning, just a brief introduction. Just you can explore and you can ask if you need a more information or detail. So I will stop here now. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, yeah. So if anyone has any questions, you can pop it in the chat to ask yourself, or I can read it out.